Hi, everyone. Since launching our podcast, we've changed the title from Bryce's Spectrum Stories to Parenting Autism. You can follow us on our Parenting Autism Facebook page, Instagram, and our website at parentingautismshow.com. Thanks for listening and enjoy.
Hello, and welcome to Bryce's Spectrum Stories. This is Sandy Colter, and I'm joined by my hubby, Chris. And today we're going to talk about some Christmas traditions that we have in our home with our son, Bryce, who is now 5 and beginning to understand Christmas. So we hope that you will find some tips, that you will find some value in this, and that you enjoy listening to what's going on in our little world during this Christmas season. At the end, we'll leave you ways to get in touch with us. If you have any questions or if you have any feedback, we always welcome that. And on that note, we hope you enjoy the show. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Or should I say ho, ho, ho?
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Welcome to our Christmas edition of Bryce's Spectrum Stories. And I thought we would take this time to just kind of talk about Christmas season, how it's going for us this year, and share some things about what we've been doing with Bryce, the changes that we've seen this Christmas season versus last Christmas season, and definitely the one before that. And then maybe some of the stuff that we talk about may help some other families with some ideas of things that we do with Bryce as well. It's for traditions. So
Yeah, this Christmas is definitely more exciting than any other Christmas with Bryce. Not that they all weren't exciting, but Bryce is excited, so we're excited. And so I'm excited, and you're excited, and it's just an exciting time because Bryce is finally figuring it all out. He's putting it together. Santa, presents, Jesus, it's the season.
It is. Yeah. You can see like his little wheels are spinning, but the lights are also coming on, which is really neat. And of course, he's been singing Rudolph since July. But,
yes. It was one of his favorite songs.
But now it's real.
Yep.
And he does recognize Rudolph when we're out and he sees him in a store or something. And of course, he loves Silent Night Night. Mm-hmm. And he has his favorite songs. I know it's been exciting too because I know we keep using that word exciting, but we can't help it, people. It's exciting times in the Colter Hotel. But yeah, he got to do his Christmas play last weekend with his class, and that was really special. And I have to say that when I saw him standing in the back, getting ready to come down the aisle for his part in the play, I got totally overwhelmed with emotion, and I didn't know where it was coming from, but I felt like I could have just broke down and cried right there. And I think it was just, I didn't know if that would happen, you know, especially even from when he was a baby and all the question marks were surrounding him as to how he would develop. And
I'm telling you, even just since school started,
yeah.
If you had told me he was going to be in this musical thing, singing songs and doing the motions and everything, I would be like, I don't think so. Yeah. But he has progressed just in this short time so much. We're just so thankful and excited about this because he's talking more all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And he just seems to be going through this phase. And it's just, not only is it the Christmas season, but it's like a gift to us that he's doing all these new things. And it's so fantastic.
He's so chatty and everything's relevant. For the most part, I shouldn't say everything. Most things he says are relevant, but it's really great. And I was also very impressed that his teacher was able to get him to wear the sheep costume because he's so picky about his clothes. And when they said he had to wear the white shirt with the black pants, he doesn't even want to wear long pants. Mm-hmm. And then if he has a shirt with buttons or a collar, that's an issue. But he did it, which was great. And then when I saw him have the hat on his head and the little vest, I'm like, good for them to get him to get that on there. Of course, he wanted it off as soon as it was done. But, he did it. He participated. He was right there in the whole thing. And so that alone has made this an extremely memorable Christmas for us, that he would be able to do that. And then talking about traditions. Of course, most importantly, we want to teach him the meaning of Christmas that has to do with the birth of Jesus. I mean, that's very important. As how much can he get at this point? Not quite sure, but we can certainly show him the manger scene.
Yep.
And we show him baby Jesus.
He knows who baby Jesus is in the manger scene.
And he knows it's his birthday, and he understands the concept of birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going around the house because he likes that song, Go Tell It on the Mountain. So when I hear him sing, when Jesus Christ is born, when I hear him say that, it makes my heart swell with so much love for him and for Jesus and just this whole Christmas season. And so, that's very important to us. And before we ever had a child, I had said, if I ever had a child, I would really want to do a tradition of baking a birthday cake for Jesus every year. And we really haven't done that to this point because Bryce wasn't clued in. Mm-hmm. But this year, we're going to make the Colter birthday cake for Jesus.
Sounds good.
And I'm very excited about that. And then that will be tradition going forward that Bryce would expect that. And he loves to bake. So that's going to be really cool. So I'm looking forward to that tradition.
Yeah.
Do you have one in mind?
Well, I mean, when I was a kid, the only tradition, I have a very poor memory as a side note here, but I do remember leaving milk and cookies out for Santa Christmas Eve. And I can tell you, parents, that when I woke up the next morning and the milk and cookies were still there, I was very disappointed and sad that Santa, I don't know if he didn't like my cookies or what. So that just always stuck in my head for some reason. And so if we put that out for Bryce, we have to make them disappear before Christmas morning. But we know he does break out if he has milk.
Well, it's not for him to drink. It's for Santa.
But
unless Santa's lactose intolerant, I don't know.
We don't normally have milk in the house, so we'll just put maybe a glass of water for Santa.
That would be fine. I don't even know if we'll do that. Maybe I don't know. It's up to you. If you want to do that this year, we can do it this year. I don't know how much that he understands that Santa's like coming to our house.
He might be scared.
He could be scared because he's very literal.
Yes.
But
maybe next year.
I think that's maybe something we can work to next year, which would be cool. We didn't have any Christmas traditions that I can think of in regard to Santa. I do have a memory, like I still believed in Santa. And so I want to say I was probably 3rd or 4th grade. And I can remember my mom sending us to bed early because I'm sure her and Dad had a lot of work to do. And I was in my room and I could hear stuff going on out there. I didn't know what was going on. And I kept looking out my window at the sky. And I can remember looking for him. And then I would fall asleep. And then when I'd wake up, everything was there. And it was so magical to me. Yes. So I think that's the part that my inner child remembers. And maybe Bryce will have that one day and maybe he won't. But I just think it's not taking away from Christ and the meaning at all. But I think everybody, it can be a big debate, especially in the Christian community. Do you tell them Santa? Do you not? But to me, it's all about how you handle it. And your child and your child's personality. And like in this situation, we're not telling him that every gift is from Santa, but we thought it would be fun if he had one gift from Santa. Mm-hmm. And so each year since he was 2 months old, we've taken him down to the Gardens Mall in Palm Beach to see Santa there on their set and take him in his pajamas. So that's like my little tradition that I know I've created that you go along with every year and I appreciate.
Yes.
And
especially since we have Marilyn who waits in line.
I was going to say we've recruited Marilyn, our friend, to wait in line so we don't have to wait for the fast pass or the long line anymore.
That's like an awesome fast pass.
It is. And so last year didn't go as well as this year because last year we got there and he was very distracted by the escalators, very distracted by the elevators, all the stuff around. And he was a little scared and skittish of the man. He did sit near him, but there was no way he was going to sit on his lap. And then when we did the family picture, he sat on my lap near him. And so, we got that. But this year,
he's all on board.
We prepped him. Yeah. And so I think a lot of it was prepping him. And
Well, we prepped him at Bass Pro Shop too.
we
So
did. We went to
I
the
think
close
last year
one.
too, we went to Bass Pro
You
Shop
did.
first, and and so when we went this year, it was a good sign because he was ready to sit on his lap, and
Yeah, he still looked a little like, I'm not sure what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But this time, when we're going to the gardens, we told him, well, we made the deal, okay, because we knew he would want to do the elevators and the escalators. So
Yeah.
if you want to do the elevators and the escalators, you have to wear your Rudolph jammies and sit on Santa's lap, and you can tell him that you want a barcode scanner for Christmas. And then after we do the pictures, you can go and ride the escalator and the elevator. So he knew the pecking order. And I'm telling you, I think that's the big difference. If you go in and you don't plan with him in advance, I mean, that's like my advice to parents. Because we've learned with Bryce, he has to process everything. He needs time.
Mm-hmm.
He needs time in every facet of his life. And he also needs time to process what's going to happen and what the pecking order is going to be. Because if
Yeah.
we were to just walk in there and then once he saw the escalator try to lay out the plan would have failed.
Yeah.
But because we prepped that, he was on board. He knew it. So when he went in, he was like marching right to it. He goes right up to Santa, sat on his lap, and he says, do you want to scan barcodes? And Santa looked at him like, what? But we know that means I want to scan barcodes.
Yeah.
And he wanted a barcode scanner. So it was really cute. And I told Santa that. And Santa really didn't ask him any other questions, which was fine. But Bryce was really ready for the picture. So
Yeah.
he's like, take a picture. And he sat on his lap by himself. And then we got that. And then he went and did the elevator tours for an hour at the mall.
Yeah, I think two important things there is one, to have a carrot out there that persuades him to do what we want him to do and know that he'll get that reward in the end.
Yeah.
So that's big, and the reward has to be significant enough to persuade him to do something, like sit on Santa's lap, which I don't think would have been a big deal by itself, but because the escalators and the elevator
Exactly.
were in the vicinity, I think it would have been very distracting
Right.
again. So we did that. And then also, I think just recently we've figured out that we need to give our whole family more time
Yep.
when we go to do something, because Bryce is now in this learning phase, that you would expect from a 2-year-old or 3-year-old, where they're asking, what is this? How does this work? Or, well, why? He still doesn't ask really why yet, but he is interested in new things and he wants to know how they work. So now we're building in extra time so that he can push buttons or ask questions and not just try to hurry him along and push him through a certain behavior that he may just be trying to learn from.
Yeah,
So,
that's a really good point.
so that has helped us tremendously, I know, because normally, I don't want to say I have a short amount of patience, but I would say I have a medium amount of patience. And without putting that extra cushion in there, I get anxious because, we have to be at location A at a certain time. So I'm like, okay, let's move things along. But now that, we both agreed to just give ourselves more time and enjoy these little moments, that has really just taken the pressure off and allowed us, to live better.
I agree. I think that was a big adjustment we've made, even in this past week.
That's what I'm saying.
Because we were recognizing it and the stress level was really ticking up. And it's really, to give the listeners an idea, is Bryce is extremely fascinated now with everything that's inside the vehicle because he wants to know how it works. So he already knows the gear shift, and then he wants to see the lights when they come on. And then he wants to know what each light means. And then he wants to know what each button does and how the windshield wiper works and how the blinkers work and the clock. And there's so many things. And we don't want to shut him down.
Right, because
From
he's
wanting
asking,
to learn.
what's this?
Yeah.
So
And
we want him to know.
He's stopped the other quirky stuff. Like he's not even been putting the seat down and all, like the OCD stuff. This is truly him wanting to learn. And so once we figured that out and built in the extra time, it has made a world of difference. But we're learning that with everything, especially this time of year with Christmas. I hear people talking, and it's like, oh, everything's so busy. And then they don't get to enjoy Christmas, and there's the hustle and the bustle. And I think a lot of that's within your own self-control because, we all manage our time at the end of the day. You have to learn what to say yes to. You have to learn what to say no to. And, and then you have the unexpected, like getting sick, And so Bryce got sick last weekend, passed that to me. I was down a whole day on Tuesday. Those are the kind of things you're not expecting during the holiday season. And yet it does seem to happen around Christmas time. So we've done a really good job, I think, of pacing ourselves by not overcommitting to too many things. A Christmas party here is okay, but not 5 of them. Like there's some at the church that we're declining to go to because the crowds would be so large. Probably wouldn't be so great for Bryce this year.
Right.
And we just kind of have to balance that with our schedule. So that's part of making your Christmas happy as well, is knowing that you're not always going to please everyone and you're not always going to be able to say yes to everything, but know what your priorities are, know what's most important to you and to your family. And then I think your season can remain joyful instead of stressful.
Yeah. And one other thing I want to mention that is a new development with Bryce is his ability to say, I'm sorry, and know what it means. He just started saying it, and it totally reminds me of when I was reading that book, Ido in Autism Land, spelled IDO in Autism Land. So it's this little boy that was nonverbal, and he became able to communicate later in life, and now he's written a book describing what it was like being locked up inside the body without being able to communicate. So I think Bryce has realized that when he gets into an OCD behavior, that he knows that it's not typical. And so he says he's sorry, and in the book, Ido describes these urges as overwhelming to do something like trying to prevent yourself from throwing up. It's that much of an urge, and I feel like Bryce recognizes that, and he does the behavior, and then he'll say, I'm sorry, because he knows, we're trying to move along, or that's not appropriate in that situation. He recognizes that, and he apologizes, and
I have noticed that. I mean, and
it's amazing.
It's consistent, so I really do think he gets it.
Yeah.
And it's very heart-wrenching because sometimes it is with tears, and he'll be like, I'm sorry, Daddy, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, and I'm Mommy, like, it's okay, sorry. Buddy. It's okay. I understand.
You need to unlock the door. We get it.
Right. You have that impulse that you have to do it, and it controls you almost, So, but it is very fascinating.
It is. I agree. And that's a really fresh new development with him. But the fact that almost like we're communicating more, and that part is also really encouraging. And then it helps us to tell him, it's okay, buddy, and we let him finish whatever it is that he needs to finish that one more time. So yeah, that is really something very interesting that's developed, and to bring that up.
Yeah.
So, so thinking about more of the Christmas traditions, we've done Santa.
Yep.
We took him to see some lights last night, which he did enjoy. It's kind of funny because last year he had such a ritual. Like he had certain pecking order that we had to do every light when he woke up in the morning. And you had to do it in the sequential order that he wanted to do it. This tree, then that tree, then the Santa, then this one, then that one. And this year, he likes the lights.
It kind of started out that way.
But it's not an everyday that he needs to do it, which is good because I don't want him in a hard routine.
Yeah.
So he's enjoying it. But the one thing that we introduced this year that's been really cute and consistent is that we introduced the Advent calendar. And so you and I had talked about that being a good idea because he's so about the calendar on the refrigerator and all the dates. And so I found that wooden tree one that has the little drawers. And I don't want to put anything big in there, but Bryce doesn't get a lot of candy.
Well, you can't fit anything big in there.
And he does
the
love
squares
chocolates.
are like 1 inch by 1
Yeah,
inch.
so it was perfect. I was thinking a Hershey's Kiss each day, right? Because for him, that's a piece of chocolate. And so he got the concept from the first day. We told him, this is December 1st. You get to open that, and then tomorrow would be the second, and then you get another piece of. And at first, he thought he got one on the first day and the second, and then the first and the second and the third. We're like, no, one a day, and then he got it. So he will now, knows the days, and he knows that 24 is when we will go to Mama and Papa's house to open presents with the family. And then, of course, the tree doesn't have a 25. So then we have to go to the other calendar, and that's where it's Jesus' birthday. And then we'll open presents at the Colter's Hotel after Santa comes. So what's been really cute with this, in my opinion, is first, he's very excited about it, and he wants to go every day. But he will not open the drawer if we're present.
Yeah.
And so...
Bye, Mommy. Bye, Daddy.
Yeah, if I'm in the room, he'll tell me to go to the kitchen or to leave, or he'll tell you to leave. So, with the house set up where I can still peek around the corner, he doesn't know that I am. I'm waiting to see, first I was like, what's he trying to do, sneak too? But he wasn't. He just, will talk and whisper to himself and say whatever the day is.
Yeah.
Pull the drawer out, get his chocolate. Yeah. And he's so excited about it. And so that, to me, has been my favorite new tradition that we introduced this year.
It's really neat to watch. We have a little video of it that I recorded on the phone, I think.
Actually, we'll post that on the Facebook, the Spectrum, Bryce's Spectrum Stories, because it's a good place for people to go to actually see and hear Bryce as well. And that would be fun. So that's been really cute and fun this Christmas. And then as far as gift shopping goes, we've tried to come up with some logical and practical gifts, but things that he will also like.
Yeah.
Which kind of reminds me of the first year that we dated, and the gifts that you got me were so logical and
I'm
practical.
a logical guy. Guys are logical.
Yeah. So, Chris got me a book about starting my own business, which I needed.
You needed
and
it.
I was getting ready to start my photography business. You got me a clock radio that had a CD player in it.
Yeah, so you could wake up to your favorite
That was
music.
great. And if I put in romantic music, I could have made that a romantic gift.
Yeah.
But you didn't give me a romantic CD with it. I had to come up with my own.
I failed.
And then you got me a photo album that
How
had a
does she
recorder in
remember
it.
all this? I don't know.
I think
Well, because you like pictures and you can record.
Again,
you
it
can
was
record with
practical. It was logical. It fit me. It just wasn't,
All right, ladies,
buzzing
send me
with
some
romance.
ideas.
But you've gotten much better since then. I
thank
think you're a little scared. That's all. You didn't want to overcommit your love.
Right.
But anyway, so with Bryce, back to the practical and the logical. Bryce does not need a lot more toys. In fact, he got loaded up quite well for his birthday, which is in October.
Yep.
So one thing that's really changed with him is, well, first of all, for Christmas in itself, he recognizes that he's getting presents now. And last year, it really wasn't so much about gifts as it was that he just liked the paper and unwrapping boxes. And there was a couple of things that maybe got his interest, but it wasn't a big deal. Where this year, we knew that he would want to open stuff.
Yeah.
And so...
So we're just kind of going by what he's into right now, which, is calling people on our phones.
Yeah.
So, of course, he's not going to get a phone. He's 5. But, so we thought walkie-talkies would be a cool idea because he does...
likes to call if we're in the same room.
Yes. He mommy's in the same room. Let's call mommy. No, mommy's sitting right here. So if we get him the walkie-talkies, he can talk to us from wherever he is in the house, and I think that'll be fun.
I think that was a really good idea. And then he's all about timers. So we thought instead of just doing a digital timer all the time, we found him an assortment of hourglass timers.
Yeah, I think Miss Debbie, his buddy at church, introduced him to that hourglass concept, and he likes to watch the sand fall through.
So I was able to find on eBay.
Colored ones, right?
I found color. They're different colors, and they're different time lengths. So there's 30 seconds, there's 1 minute, there's 2 minutes, there's 5 minutes.
Cool.
So he can set different timers, and it's not just digital, and he can watch the sands fall through. So we're pretty excited about that gift idea. I did get him a lot of shirts because he's so picky about his shirts now, and he likes them to have characters on them. So and plus he's outgrowing all of his smaller shirts. So it was the perfect time to go ahead and just load him up on these button-free, collar-free shirts that he will want. And he'll have lots of boxes to open with those in there. We also got him, well, of course, Santa's got him the
cash register,
the barcode scanner,
Yes.
and a cash register, and it's got the money that comes with it. And really, he doesn't need all the fake toys that come with it, because he can just go to our pantry and he can take the boxes of pasta
scan
out or
those
whatever we
barcodes,
have,
yeah.
and he can just pretend that he's scanning that way. And then, as the minimalist that I really want to be, that would be less
Yeah.
stuff that we have to keep in our house, but a fun way for him to really enjoy that toy and to have something that's fun from Santa. So we got him that. I know there was something else that we got him. I don't know what. If it comes back to me,
Yeah.
we'll share it, because
Yeah.
it was another thing that kind of went along with what his personality is right now. But I do know family has been asking us what they could get him. And so, again, we're kind of going in the direction that he likes. And that's what I would encourage parents to do. I've heard Temple Grandin speak, and she always says, don't focus on what they're not doing or the negatives, but focus on what they do like and what
they're
they're
interested in.
interested in, and feed that. And so Bryce is so mechanical, and he loves all of that. And so when I took him to Home Depot a couple of weeks ago to do their monthly craft, I had his attention for a few minutes with the screwdriver and with the hammer. But when they saw the snow cone machine, all the other kids were going up so that they could get a snow cone, and Bryce was studying the machine.
Yeah.
And he wanted to know how the machine worked and the engine, and he thought it was the coolest thing to see big ice go in and come out as little ice. And it was kind of funny because we were doing a painting project, so he thought the syrup was paint. And he'd say, look, they're putting paint on their ice. And I said, that's right, and that will give you a bellyache. So he was telling the kids, you'll get sick from the paint. But, it was really cool. So we thought that would be a good gift idea. So we passed that along to one of his aunts. And, that's kind of what we're doing. But then there's some that just want to give him money to get him something, and we're all about the experience. So that has been a good gift idea as well, is that for his birthday and for Christmas, if someone just wanted to give us either cash or Disney gift cards, we're planning to take him to Disney. And so we're talking about taking him to the Magic Kingdom, which we took
Let
him.
me clarify that
go
we're
ahead.
not asking the audience for gift
Lord,
cards
no.
or gifts.
And I certainly wasn't trying to come across that way.
This is just what we share with family.
This is an idea for you as parents if you're looking for gift ideas for your children and you don't quite know what to get them as a gift.
Yeah.
Give them the gift of an experience.
Right.
This is the point.
Yeah.
Please. And so that's worked out really well. And so we were talking about taking him to the Magic Kingdom, but then we talked about it more, and we're like, well, what does he love most? He loves hotels and giving hotel tours, and he loves trains. And so there's the Disney Hotel. I think it's the Contemporary, where the monorail actually comes through the hotel. And so we're really considering at this point of looking into maybe going there and staying for a night, that he gets to stay like in the Disney Hotel and see everything that they have there. And I just think for him, he would enjoy that so much more than an amusement park at this age.
Do they have the characters there?
Yeah,
Do
and
they?
they'll have the breakfast with the characters, which the last time, didn't go so well. So, it's a hit and miss, and that's fine. If it's a miss, we might be able to prep him a little more this time because it was familiar from before. But it's just, I'm really just trying to talk about like what we're doing for gift ideas to help other parents focus in on that. Because again, we've seen it where, as with any child, you can only get so many toys. And Bryce is in a situation where he's not going to go through a book and point at what he wants.
Right.
And he's not going to go into the store and tell you everything that he wants.
Right.
And most of the stuff that he's going to look at 5 minutes later, he'll never look at again. Mm-hmm. So it's very different in our situation where you're kind of guessing what he will want, but you have good guesses based on what his likes are and what he's into.
I like the idea of experiences because, those are good memories and pictures, and put those pictures into a photo album, and remember that experience with your child, that, get out and enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah.
Go do an experience and that they'll learn from. I came across this toy tool set online that was used, like on one of those Craigslist type things, and I was like, oh, that would be really cool for Bryce. And I thought, no, he will only play with that for 5 minutes and then he'll be done. He likes
Real
working
tool.
with me in the garage, and so I'm building a stone mailbox right now, and I'm holding the drill while he pulls the trigger, and we're putting screws in and drilling holes, and he thinks that's the best thing since sliced bread.
And you've taught him the saws because he's telling me what the different saws do.
Yeah, I mean, he loves the idea of the circular saw and the miter saw, and
He knows which one cuts wood. He knows which one
yeah,
cuts cement.
well, yeah, he knows.
He tells me all of that. So you're teaching him with
Yeah.
the reel. Obviously, he's not operating that.
Right, and he's not going to be near the saw when
But
I
he
use it.
loves the sound of the real engine
And what it
not the
does,
pretend,
yeah.
and seeing the real result.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's totally.
He'll be like, "Daddy, cut the wood," and I'll show him that we're measuring with the tape measure and the pencil, and he loves that stuff. So I'm gonna feed it.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. And I think the gift of experience, it's probably my favorite gift that I love to give. And I always did that with our nieces and nephews, especially when they were younger. And we would try to think of some type of experience. And we tried to do it even when the girls were younger, to do something together. And that one time we got start the recording session because she loved to sing.
Yes.
And we made up the certificate like American Idol logo,
Yeah.
and that she would get to record a song.
Yes.
I mean, that's the kind of creativity and the gifts that they'll always remember, as to opposed to a toy or a lotion or, something that they appreciate at the moment, but they're not going to remember it 10, 20 years later.
Yeah.
And then we would, even when we take them on the trip, I always made a photo album for them as well, so that they would have the pictures to document, what we did. And so we're carrying on that tradition with Bryce, and I think the gift of experience is really awesome. In fact, we're going to be able to take him to Legoland the next weekend before Christmas. So the past 2 years, kind of going along that line with experience, we did Lion Country Safari, which again, he didn't really get it, but we were there at Christmas time that weekend. And then we did the Brevard Zoo last year. But this year, I think he's going to be a little more aware of everything. So Chris had found something on the internet, and it's a charity, I believe,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he submitted Bryce's story, and they were so kind as to donate 3 tickets for us to go to Legoland. We have a year to go, and free parking as well.
You just have to have proof of your diagnosis, so you'll need the doctor's letter of the autism diagnosis. And it's a first. I don't want to say first come first serve, but it's a case by case basis. So
Right, case by case.
they review the information that you submit, and I guess if it meets their criteria, then they award you the tickets.
Yeah, so it's a really nice surprise for Bryce that we're going to be able to do for him at Christmas time. And they just ask in exchange that we share some pictures from the adventure, which is what we're planning to do. So that will be this year's Christmas adventure that we get to do. And then the other thing that will be Bryce's other big gift is he's been wanting to go to the Children's Museum in Tampa, Florida. And he has this guy Blippi. So I don't know if any of you parents out there are familiar with Blippi, but Bryce has found him on YouTube and loves him. And he thinks he's going to be at the Tampa Children's Museum, although he won't be there. But we're going on that New Year's weekend. We're going to take him over. And so he is so excited about that. And so that is his gift from his grandma Roro. We're getting the tickets, and we're going to wrap that up. And we got him a Blippi shirt. And so he gets to open that up on Christmas, and then we get to take him there a few days later. So, it's about the experience, and that's even better for, me and you as well.
Yeah.
Is doing the experience, then again putting in another thing in his room. And
Right.
it's not that we don't appreciate gifts, because we do. It's just like, as with most children, there's a short attention span and they move on.
And when you have autism, it's an even shorter attention span. It just is.
Yes,
They get easily distracted with other things, with just other things. And
Yeah.
the name of that charity for the Legoland is Merlin's Magic Wand Foundation. So if you Google that, we'll put a link in the show notes. But they were the ones that awarded us the tickets. So we hope you guys give it a shot and see if it works for you. And it's going to be such an enjoyable time that we otherwise wouldn't have been able to do with him. So we're very excited to go there and enjoy that time with him.
Yeah, I'm very appreciative that we're going to have this opportunity. And we'll be sharing, I'm sure, our stories. Because another podcast that we're going to do coming up is traveling with Bryce, and how it is to travel and to prepare. And we'll even do a review on the theme park from a parent's perspective. And especially having a child on the spectrum and at his age, at age 5. So we can do a podcast about what rides we did and what shows we did and what he seemed to be interested in. And we'll do that. And I know with Christmas, you and I had talked about picture taking at Christmas time, which seems to come up because with our photography business, obviously we've been very busy with that as well.
It's always a busy season.
It is a busy season. And, I kind of booked up until this week, and now we're going to take a little break till after Christmas. We're going to do another episode about family photography for families that have children on the spectrum or have special needs, because I think that warrants its own thing. But I will say that we did get pictures of Bryce that we took from our own winter wonderland that we did. And he only gave us a time limit on that, so we got some sweet pictures, but we've still yet to get a family picture that is replacing the one I have on the wall from when he was 2. But it will come, and we've been able to help other families get some beautiful family pictures and of their children, that have children with special needs and on the spectrum this season. So there's definitely some things that we can share.
We realize we're past kind of the picture taking season right now.
For Christmas. But the
it'll
next
be
round
useful.
is Easter and spring, and there's a lot of families that wait until then because they don't want everything in red and green and Christmas pictures.
Right.
So we'll definitely do something in the new year for that as well. But on this note with Christmas, I don't know if there's anything else I wanted to share today. Is there anything else you want to share, honey?
No, I just hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas and a safe holiday, and that we just pray that there's no hiccups during your holiday season and no meltdowns.
No meltdowns, yeah. And, just love on your children. Let's remember what the real reason for the season is about. And in our home, and I know everybody has their different beliefs, and we respect everyone's beliefs. Definitely in our home, the center focus is, about baby Jesus coming and being born in the manger, and, the virgin birth, and that's really our salvation. And so it's an extremely important time for us. It's also a time for us to stop and think about other families that aren't as fortunate as us.
Sure.
At our church, they talk about less consumption and more compassion, and I really like that message to carry throughout the season. And I know last year one thing that we did that I hadn't talked to you about, but I want to do again this year, is we had taken some $20 bills when we were out for our Christmas weekend, and when we went out to eat, if there was someone that was serving us or that we were at a place and we felt it laid on our heart, we gave them like that extra 20 to wish, above and beyond what we would have normally given them.
Yeah.
And I just remember our waitress, she just like, I can't accept this, and to her, it meant so much. And so that's part of the joy of giving. And what I'm really looking forward to is when Bryce can get that concept too, and that we can teach him that, and teach him about getting one of the angels off the tree and let him shop for another child that isn't as fortunate as him.
For sure.
I think that's so important in this Christmas season. So we have so many more traditions and Christmas things that we have yet to do with him as he continues to learn and develop each year. But this year, 2018 Christmas is definitely one that's going to go in the books as very memorable and just new milestones, and we're so grateful, and we're so excited about rolling into 2019 and sharing a lot of things with all the listeners out there. And with that, I'm going to say as well, Merry Christmas, and it may be a Happy New Year.
Yes, it will be a Happy New Year. One day at a time, take a deep breath and roll.
Okay.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Hey guys, thanks for hanging with us today. We really appreciate you listening to us, and we hope that you're getting some either entertainment or some tips out of what we're talking about. And if you have any tips for us or questions, please email us at bricesspectrum@gmail.com. And as always, if you're listening on iTunes, please leave us an iTunes review. It helps us get new listeners and help other people that are out there that need the help. So with that, that's a wrap for today, and we'll see you next time.